Hello, everyone, and welcome to the In the Pocket podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Chip Ginyard. This is episode 10 of the Musician Memoirs series. This podcast was created to help people find their rhythm, to help them find their niche through the inspirational stories that our guests provide. We want you to find your groove and stay in the pocket. We want you to continue to pursue your dreams with the motivation that you gain from listening to our guests. Hailing all the way from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, by way of Atlanta, I'd like to introduce my friend and brother. My guest today is a father, multi-instrumentalist, clinician, teacher, and just a good dude. This young OG has created a name in the industry that will be respected forever. My brother has played and recorded with some of the biggest names in gospel, pop, R&B, and hip hop. He has some stories and he's going to share with us on his successful life on the road and off the road. So let's not keep you waiting. Welcome to the pod, my friend and brother, Mr. Justin Rafiki Raines. Just what up, man?
You, what's up, man?
My guy, I appreciate you taking time out to be with me, bro. We have a long line of friendship, many years of friendship. We're both here in Atlanta. You should have came to the house. We could have just did this at the crib, but but I'm super hyped that you took time out to be here. Many people don't know how far back we go. But like very to the beginning, we're going to talk all about it. Mm-hmm. You have created a wonderful name for yourself in this industry, respected. Like nobody that I know that mentions your name doesn't mention good things. Your professionalism, your character, the way you carry yourself, you're family oriented. You love God. You worship God on your instrument. You know, you're professional. Like there's so many things that people can learn and glean from you. And I just want to pick your brain today and share with our audience on how to find their groove and stay in the pocket.
Yeah. Of course, man. I'm here. I'm an open book, man. Whatever you want to know.
Let's get it. My brother is here today. So let's go. Let's get right into it. You're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Do you consider that the Midwest?
Oh man, I've had that question before, and I don't. Growing up, I've always thought it was the East Coast.
Yeah.
It's Western Pennsylvania, like right by Ohio, but I've always considered it, East Coast. I don't know. Some people might consider it Midwest. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because technically, I think Ohio is kind of where it starts, but I don't know. Like I claim for the East Coast. Being from Connecticut, I think I consider Pittsburgh right there. It's a few hours away. So
do I. Yeah.
Yeah. So who was the person that gave you the Rafiki nickname?
So actually, that happened in college.
Okay.
And in college, I was always the goofy, the goofy dancing, as I still do today.
Yeah.
A dancing bass player.
Right.
And it was like, you up here looking like Rafiki, like little monkey.
Oh God!
But it was more of a joke of like amongst friends.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it started. But it stayed because in the movie Lion King, Rafiki is like the wise, monkey. He's the wise one.
Yeah.
And when I was in college, everybody always came to me for something.
That's good.
For advice, or although I was barely in my 20s,
right.
I just had a lot of wisdom, whether it was music driven or just anything. I just had like a lot of knowledge on different things.
Yeah.
People kind of came with me. So the name fit, beyond just, dancing on stage, if you will.
Got you. So you're wise beyond your years.
Yeah.
Nah, it fits. I dig it. It definitely stuck throughout the years, and it's kind of your signature now.
What's funny is there's some people don't think Rafiki is my actual name. Like I've gone over to different countries within Africa, and when they see me, they don't say Justin, they say Rafiki.
Just go with it, right?
Right.
So you growing up in Pittsburgh, talk about how it was growing up first in your home, like what the vibe was like.
So let's see. Mom, single parent, growing up in Pittsburgh. Mom worked a few jobs, just to make sure that I was good. And that's, as many black moms, single black moms at least were.
Yeah.
I always had an interest in the arts.
Yeah.
So when I was, 5 years old, 6 years old, I was interested in dance. So my mom put me in dance.
Wow.
I was interested in visual art. So she put me in art classes,
Yeah.
So whatever I wanted to do, she would support.
Supportive, yeah.
And it wasn't until the 5th grade, when we grew up, when you got to a certain grade, they would send a paper home with instruments on it, and you choose the
Right.
instrument, that you want to play.
Yeah.
And they gave us 3 choices, and I chose drums as number 1.
Right.
I chose saxophone as 2, and I chose the trumpet last because I didn't know anything about it.
Okay.
I knew about the saxophone because you see it on TV.
Of course, yeah.
Of course, I knew what drums were.
Yeah.
And they gave me trumpet.
Right.
But little did I know that me picking the trumpet would literally start the progression of my entire musical journey.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, I picked up trumpet, and my mom just kind of let me do whatever I wanted to.
Yeah.
And as a child, in a child's place.
Right, of course.
She let me whatever I wanted to do. She's always been extremely supportive.
That's dope.
And that's kind of like the start, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from there, are you already in a performing arts setting at that time, or
no? Not yet. After picking up the trumpet in the 5th grade, my music teacher in the 5th grade noticed that I had an exceptional gift. Even with the trumpet, like I didn't do what they told me to do. They said, take the instrument home and buzz on the mouthpiece.
Right.
Don't take it out. Don't do nothing.
Right.
I took it home and I took that whole thing apart. and they knew I took it apart because I didn't know how to put it back together. And back to the school. I mean, they, did everything, but every day I was just practice. Yeah. And I remember the kindergarten teacher of my elementary school, she will always see me, carrying my trumpet on the instrumental days, and she's like, you know what, you remind me of Miles Davis. And I'm like, I don't know who that is.
Right.
So she took me into the kindergarten room, and back in the day we had the roll-in TVs with the
of course, yeah.
She had a VHS of a Miles Davis concert.
Wow.
And she showed me Miles Davis. She showed me a whole concert of Miles Davis.
Wow.
And that thing is stuck with me.
Yeah.
Okay. Like in more ways than one. I was like, yeah, I probably never pick up a cigarette because of that. But my music teacher suggested that I go to the Performing Arts Middle School.
Okay.
I actually don't even remember auditioning. I think it was just all word of mouth.
Yeah.
And so I got into the middle school for the performing arts. And a lot happened there, like it was a lot of theory, a lot of being around, students, and then my teachers.
Theory in middle school? Wow.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Like when I was in middle school, our school would push us to be beyond where we were. So if you were in 6th grade, you need to be on an 8th grade reading. Yeah. If you're in 8th grade, you need to be on a 10th or 11th grade reading level. Just kind of keep pushing beyond, what it is.
Right.
The regular, if you will.
Yeah, I'm so jealous of you guys in Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Philadelphia area. Like, we didn't have that in Connecticut. We didn't have performing arts. Mm-hmm. So, music was on Tuesdays and Fridays. Mm-hmm. The band would practice when you finally got to 5th grade. You could have, it was an elective, and you could, but we didn't have any specialized curriculum for music at all. Mm. So like the Spankies and the Justin Raines of the world, who all y'all went through, Little John, y'all all had access to, these performing arts schools and Fame and all that stuff being, in that area, in that state. We didn't have any of that. So I was super jealous. And I feel like a lot of kids, a lot of people in our age group and age range probably could have done and been more successful if we had access and our mind was open at that earlier age. But as soon as I graduated, then they built a school for performing arts. So it was a little too much, a little too late, right? So I see your progression was organic. When did you switch from trumpet to bass?
It was actually the last thing. So, like I said, picking up trumpet in middle school. Well, one being in any kind of performing arts school, piano is always required.
Okay.
Everyone must know how to play the basics of piano.
That's great. Wow.
So for me, being like I said, being in middle school, I was very invested. I was like, I'll come home, do my homework, and I'll practice 6, 7, 8 hours a day. Because I loved it. I loved it, you know, and then that seed of the lady, you know, showing me Miles Davis. I remember for Christmas, I got the Kind of Blue album for Christmas.
Wow.
And before I knew what transcribing was, I was transcribing Miles Davis.
Wow.
You know, and because in middle school we learned theory at such a young age.
Yeah.
I was writing it out. I was like, okay, this is what it is. I'm writing it out. I'm thinking this is the norm.
Yeah.
How people respond. And
what are you like 11, 12 years old?
Yeah, 10, 11, 12. And then I had access to a lot in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a small city, but a large jazz community. And so
George Benson is from Pittsburgh, isn't he? Yeah.
Absolutely. Crazy. And so I was a part of like the summer jazz series. I was part of all city jazz and all state jazz band, all city orchestras and all state orchestras. And along with the performing arts middle school that I was in Pittsburgh at the time, there was a Saturday school called Centers for the Creative and Performing Arts. It was like an extra Saturday school from like 9 a.m. until 2 p.m.
Gotcha.
Where I went there, and it was, you know, more theory classes,
right?
Brass band, orchestra, jazz band, quintets, all throughout the day. You know, so I have performing arts school, Saturday music school, and then electives outside of school, like all city and all state, jazz and classical orchestra.
So where were you leaning more? What was your favorite back then? Was it more jazz or was it more the orchestra side of it?
Didn't matter.
Just love to play.
I just loved to play. I found love in just playing the trumpet, you know, just playing and because I was good at it, that fueled it even more. And because I was good, I was winning awards. I was like featured on the radio. I was, you know, like this young star throughout the city, if you will.
You're a prodigy, man.
And then I went to high school, and the high school for the performing arts, and it was there in the 10th grade that I picked up the bass. So by then I played drums, I played trumpet, and I played piano. And I picked up the bass in the 10th grade because we didn't have any student electric bass players.
Wow.
We had we had bass players that played the upright, that played the double bass, but none of them wanted to play the electric bass in jazz band. So in jazz band, we had a plethora of trumpets.
Wow.
And our guitar teacher was playing bass pick, which I just thought was so weird. Playing jazz. I mean, today it's more common, but then I was like, that's so weird, you know. So I was lead trumpet, I was a section leader, I was principal trumpet and everything, and I was like, you know, I'll learn bass. I already know the theory. Wow. You know what I mean? Like I know all the chord changes and all that stuff.
Wow.
I'll learn bass. So the guitar teacher showed me the A flat major scale.
Wow.
This is what it looks like on the bass. That's the only lesson I ever got in high school. You know, he just showed me how to play the A flat major scale on the bass. And I took the school bass home and just practiced on it. You know, just practice the shapes. I'm like, okay, well, I know if this is a G and this is the shape, I know, you know, the notes in the G major scale are, you know, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. And like, I know those things. I know how to read music. I just have to get my hand, you know, developed.
Yeah.
All of this is going on at the same time, you know, growing up in church.
Of course, sure.
So my ear is developing.
Of course.
Developed. So
were you playing drums at church by then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was the young musician that was telling the older musicians what they were playing.
Wow. Because you could transcribe everything and break it down. You knew what they were playing.
Yeah, because I could transcribe it. I could tell them, like, man, what are you playing? And they're like, I don't know. Right? And at that time, I thought they were being jerks. Like, look, like you don't want to show me. But as I got older,
didn't know.
As I got older, I was like, oh, you really didn't know.
Yeah.
Because now I, as a teacher, I now have students that'll play something amazing.
Right.
You know what you just played. And they're like, no, I don't. I'm like, okay, well, let me explain. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I was doing that at like a very young age. So in church, developing my ear, and at school, developing my ear and my reading and all this. So all this is going on at the same time. And then when I picked up bass, I just kind of just dove in head first. You know, I would take the bass to rehearsals and sound terrible. Sound like trash. You know, but I just practiced every day. Practice. And
you already had that work ethic in you from the trumpet. So practicing and sitting down for many hours, sharpening your craft wasn't anything that wasn't normal to you.
No, not at all. And me and my friends, we had a trio. One played drums, one played keys, and I was the bass player. Well, I was trumpet player, but then I picked up the bass. I was like, okay, so we got a little trio that we played at church together, and we just kind of pushed each other. You know, from playing, you know, little triad chords and playing little simple, you know, drum licks to actual, you know, accompanying jazz artists and gospel artists, you know, throughout the city and stuff like that.
So what came first, your jazz ears or your gospel ears?
I probably have to say jazz ears.
Yeah,
my jazz ears. I would think maybe in my subconscious the gospel, because you know, I grew up Church of God in Christ, so I was hearing it. Ooh,
the grand old. You can't join it, huh?
Born in. I just
my God.
I had to yes, sir. My seed was still there. But when I think back, man, there were so many seeds.
Yeah,
I didn't really like pay attention to because I wasn't into music yet until later. Like James Moore live in Pittsburgh. That's at my church.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, that was my church in Pittsburgh.
Whoa.
I remember pulling up, me and my mom going to the church for the concert and seeing all these wires on the floor of the church and seeing all these trucks outside. And I remember that. I remember all of that.
That's so cool.
And wow, I just thought of something. On that album, there's a song that Donald Hayes plays sax on. Well, he played on the whole album, but there's a song that he's featured on that when I started playing trumpet and getting a little good at it, I played trumpet in my church to that song.
Wow.
It just randomly hit me as I'm sitting here talking about that. But yeah, just growing up and being around it. So I'll say consciously jazz probably came first, but subconsciously gospel was already there.
But you're on the flip side, you're at choir rehearsal, you know, learning the Hezekiah Walker songs, the Orlando Draper songs, the, you know, all that stuff. Yeah. So you're sharpening your ear and then you're technically going to school and getting sound there. That's dope. Well-rounded. Wow. So it's kind of an organic kind of feel. Like, see, with me, it was all church, just one dimensional, right? I tried to get into the band in school and I played, I started with the saxophone And
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
but I could already play drums, so it was the learning curve. You know how it is. It's tough when you're already advanced on an instrument,
Sure.
and then you try to go to another instrument. You really don't have the discipline unless you have somebody over you, or, you know, pushing you to do so. So
got you.
Gave that saxophone back. You know, I was bored too easy. You know, because I didn't have the heart for it. And then I moved to the bass. Right, I picked up a bass, but it was too much equipment. It was carrying the bass. It was, you know, I had the little Gorilla amp and the hard guitars in my book bag. I'm getting on the bus with it. I'm like, man, this is for the birds. I'm not doing this. And so my band teacher, we had a kick, snare, hi-hat, crash, and maybe a floor tom. And I just got on and started playing with the, you know, just after practice was over, I put my saxophone down and they didn't know I could play. And once I played, they was like, nah, put that sax back.
Yeah,
you're not playing nothing, put the bass down, you're not playing anything else. So I instantly became, you know, the All-State and all that stuff with the jazz band. But my focus was only church. You know, it never moved to that side. And I'm kind of jealous of you guys that had the opportunity to really learn that way, because I feel like it would have changed my direction as a musician. But I'm grateful for everything I got so far.
Man, everybody's journey is different, man.
Everybody's journey is different. That's good to say, man, because some people, you know, see your life and want, you know, your journey. You set the path for yourself and let everybody know, you know, which way you wanted to go. So
absolutely. And if I can kind of continue, so that was kind of like the introduction to bass, if you will.
Yeah.
And then once I started playing or getting comfortable with it, I was like, oh, I'm a quadruple threat. You know, I play trumpet, I play bass, I play drums, and I play piano.
Yeah.
You know, like for a while, my email in high school was TDB 2002, which was trumpet, drums, bass.
Wow.
In 2002, the year that I graduated high school. So that was my email address when I was younger.
Wow.
But I was like, I was and I was driven to be good at all of them because my teachers said that I couldn't.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
The teachers were like, well, you know, you got to choose one. I said, no, I don't.
Yeah. No,
I don't. And then somebody showed me Prince. I said, oh, I definitely don't.
No, exactly. Playing everything.
And like me, I switched my principal instrument from trumpet to drums.
Okay.
And some of it was spite. Some of it was spite because the teacher at the time was like, you can't do X, Y, and Z. You can't do that. You have to choose one. I'm like, okay. I'm your principal trumpet, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I'm going to go be a drummer now.
I'm going to be the drummer.
Yeah. So I did it out of spite, but because they said that I couldn't do it.
Right.
I was, and it just pushed me even more, you know, to just, you know, be good at drums, be good at bass, be good at piano, be good at trumpet. Trumpet ended up taking the backseat because bass just there weren't young bass players, you know, throughout the city. Like when I was younger, there weren't a lot of young electric bass players in church.
Right.
There weren't at all. Like I was one of the first to kind of start it, and then like some of my friends and my cousin, they started playing because my cousin played French horn.
Okay.
Probably one of the baddest French horn players I've ever that I know to this day. We were an all city jazz band together, and he was playing first alto saxophone parts on a French horn.
French horn, wow, jeez.
Not just playing it, but sight reading it, because the French horn is an F instrument.
Yeah.
Alto saxophone is an E flat instrument.
So he transposed.
You have to transpose while you're reading.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
So
next level.
Didn't really realize that when I was a kid. I was just like, oh, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But older, I'm like, yo, wow, we were exposed to a lot. But as we got older, everybody started to kind of, you know, play more rhythmic instruments, you know, bass, you know, drum and stuff like that. But the more I played, the more exposure that I got around the city. And it went from, you know, playing in my home church because in my home church I didn't play bass. I played drums.
Right.
So it went from playing drums in my home church to playing bass for like some of the community choirs,
Yeah.
or the community groups and stuff like that. And just watching the older bass players that were around me in the city.
Yeah.
Play. I was a sponge. I was always watching them and seeing how they played, what they did. One of my biggest influences is a guy named Alonzo Smith from Youngstown, Ohio, and or Warren, Ohio. They're pretty close to each other. And him and a guy named Barry and a guy named Raymond, they drove from Ohio to Pittsburgh to play for one of the biggest, community choirs. My big brother,
Trinity Massey, yes sir.
Yeah, that's my big brother, man. He I would go to choir rehearsals on Monday nights just to sit there, and watch Alonzo play bass.
Of course, yeah.
Under him and just kind of watch him, and he was one of my biggest influences. Actually, like a part of the reason why I even picked up the bass. And just because he was so animated, the groove, he was so aggressive on that thing. I was drawn to it, so I just watched him play for years, and he just poured into me. He just poured into me, like showed me what to play. He would give me a chance. He would like, "Hey, young man, I'm not coming to Pittsburgh today, so you hold down rehearsal, or you play, or I'll let you play one of the songs at GMWA."
Wow.
You know what I mean? So, so he was a big hands-on part,
right,
of my development in playing. So once again, all of this, my ears being developed from these rehearsals, community choirs,
learning on the fly, turnarounds and changes, and got to be sporadic.
All of that, and then I go home and just practice, practice everything. Everything was homework and then practice.
Yeah. Wow. Are there any other guys in Pittsburgh that or in that area that influenced you?
Absolutely. Let's see.
Drums and bass.
Drums. So if we look at bass, rest in peace, Don McNeil Sr. Me and all of his sons went to high school, maybe middle school too. When we all went to high school together.
Yeah.
All of his sons. Two of his sons played trumpet, and the other was a vocalist. And I played drums where he played bass.
Okay.
And he was the coolest guy ever. The coolest older guy. He was he was well respected. Like he was one of those guys. Like, all right, you don't cross him.
Yeah.
He looks scary. Like 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah. Big dude.
But he was so cool. He was in like a 70s funk band back in the day. So he's one. Ronnie Biggs. Matter of fact, Ronnie Biggs played bass on James Moore live in Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Ronnie Biggs. Another guy named Rodney Williams, Brian Sanders. These are all local guys within the city. Those were most of the church guys. And then the jazz guys, Dwayne Dolphin, Paul Thompson. These are all guys that we kind of just grew up around, that were just great at what they did.
Yeah.
Drums, it was always my peers. So my brother Dennis Garner and William Javon Rushton and James Johnson, and man, just so many of my peers. But we were all taught under Roger Humphreys.
Okay.
So like it was a big community thing. But I remember my first time going to GMWA. I was 15, and it was in New Orleans.
Wow.
And that was my first time seeing Thomas Pridgeon, and rest in peace, Tim Robiz.
Yes, sir.
And that was when I met Aaron Spears. I met Jamal. Met all the homies that we all know now. But but that was my first time being introduced to shedding.
Yeah.
I came back home to Pittsburgh, and I was like, yo, we need to shed. Let's just shed. Just shed. You know what I mean? And so yeah, but those were my influences in Pittsburgh. And as I'm talking, like I'm just kind of remembering or having like nostalgic moments of just kind of being what's the word? Exposed to so much in the jazz and gospel world. Like I remember one concert I played for every opening act, and we were opening up for Kirk Franklin.
Wow.
I played drums for this opening act, I played bass for the next one, and I played drums for the next one.
Wow.
And I played bass for the next one.
Whoa.
I was on stage the whole time.
How old were you?
I was 16.
16. Already gigging full time, like
yeah,
in the big leagues, yeah.
And wow, my very first gig, I played behind commission.
Wow.
When I was 16. I mean, I played over the track, so it was when the track goes out, just
you gotta continue it,
continue to groove. Wow. I was like 16. Yeah, I was 16.
What bass? What was your first bass?
A Yamaha BBG 5-string. I think it's in my closet actually. It's It's a blue bass with like little black stripes, gold-plated hardware. And I bought it because I like the way it looked.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about basses. I went to the store. I saw it. I said, "Mom, I want that bass." And she saved up and bought me the bass.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Let me move on. I'm going to name some influential people in your life, and you give me 15 to 30 seconds of something background about them. Kevin Camp.
Whoo! That's my brother, man. Amazing musician, amazing person. I'm gonna tell you something non-musical.
Okay.
When I first went on dialysis, when I was living in Boston, 2009, Kevin came and sat with me the entire 3.5, 4 hours.
Wow. Yeah. A brother.
That's a brother. That's a brother, man. So
absolutely.
And he's been consistent ever since.
Absolutely, bro.
Yeah. Selfless.
Evan Bryce.
Same.
Yeah.
Brother, man. That's blood could not make us closer, man.
Yeah.
Like that's same thing. Kevin, Evan. We created a sound.
Absolutely. You see where I'm going.
Yeah. We created a sound, man, that is still to this day well respected.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, I remember going to Boston and we would have to rehearse all week just to be in the conversation, just to make sure we were on the same level, man, because y'all were bringing it, man. They're going to those Bobby Perry concerts and going to Boston to see y'all and see y'all come to Doobies and come down to Hartford and y'all coming down to our open mics. I remember y'all came down to open mic we threw with Dion. Y'all drove all the way from Boston all the way down and played, and those are just good times, man. Those early 2000s were something special, bro.
You know, since you mentioned Evan and Kevin, me and Evan were roommates in college. We were roommates, and we lived across the street from Kingdom.
Yep.
And we made a conscious decision. We were like, you know what? We can't be the norm. We need to be extraordinary. So
y'all took risks, bro. Y'all were crazy, like putting Spain in intros and stuff. Like I remember all that. I remember.
Man, that started with Evan, man.
Yeah.
Evan was like, yo, I got an idea. Let's just try it. I was like, okay, cool. Let's try it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had a key to the church. So we practiced literally every night. Like it'd be like 1:00 in the morning. He was like, yo, I got an idea. Let's go over to the church.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I remember those days, bro. I remember the precision and the love and the hunger, the youth that you guys had. And like,
yeah, man.
You know, just we love to play at that age and that time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Let's go to Paris Bowens.
Man, the nicest, sweetest guy ever, man. Rest in peace, Paris, man. That loss really hurt. Yes. That loss hurt a lot, man. But you know, he was consistent throughout. When he started traveling with New Breed, he was already a musical icon.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? Before uniting with us with Israel and New Breed, he was already, doing phenomenal and extraordinary things, with Ty.
Yeah.
And getting a chance to work with him, grow with him, laugh, cry, worship.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Have all these different moments with him, travel the world. Amazing. He's an amazing guy, man. Amazing.
Great person.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, P. Man, let's go Andrew Goucher.
The reason why I picked up MTD.
Yeah.
Quick story. GMWA, I'm 16 years old. The Wilmington Chester Mass Choir is going up next at this musical. And at GMWA, in the musicians corner, there's a bunch of drummers, a bunch of musicians just kind of
waiting.
There's a bunch of kind of waiting for their turn.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the drummer was in the bathroom when they were going up, and Andrew Goucher stepped in, played bass.
Yeah,
we need a drummer. We need a drummer. Nobody was moving.
Right.
I got up to go play. They were doing Hosanna. Hosanna.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Andrew Goucher is murdering.
Yeah.
Killing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm distracted. I've never seen a bass player play like he is playing.
Yeah.
Yelling at me, stay in the pocket. Stay in the pocket. Oh, my bad. I'm like distracted, smacking. I've never seen this before.
Yeah.
So anytime he played, I was like there. I was watching. I'm like, this man is incredible. But he's the reason why I started playing MTD basses.
Wow.
And to this day, amazing friend, amazing guy.
Yeah. Goucher is dope. He was the mayor of GMWA.
Absolutely.
I can remember going to Minnesota my first year. I think I was 04, 05. Same situation. I'm with Youth for Praise and we're waiting to go on. They're doing a tribute to Dottie Peoples. And they say, she starts singing, he's in on time, and nobody's there. So Goucher's already on the bass. He's getting ready to play for somebody else. He's, tuning up. He starts playing the bass line. He's like, somebody get in the drums. Same situation.
Mm-hmm.
I jump on, and Kurt Carr gets on the keys. So it's Andrew Goucher, Kurt Carr, and me on the drums.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't move. I'm watching. I'm not getting yelled at in front of everybody. So, but that was a funny story. It's similar to what you went through, man. That was those situations. You can meet anybody. I remember Darnell got to play for Mary Mary because their musicians didn't make it, and like he had to play on top of the TV tracks. Like you never know in those situations.
You never know, man.
Yeah. So and you think about all the people we met. I met Tim. I met Thomas. All of our guys we met at that convention. Just spending time and just being lovers of gospel music, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are good times. Talk about Tim Robbins.
Tim, wow, man, just got chills. So Tim, I met Tim at GMWA, like I said, in New Orleans, and I think I went to GMWA for every year for like the next, I don't know what, 4 or 5 years, I'm gonna say.
Yep. Because we'd all be there together.
Yeah.
We would click up and be East Coast and the West Coast.
Absolutely.
We'd all be there. Yep.
And so I really, me, him, and Thomas really got to know each other well.
Yes.
At GMWA, and then when I went to Berkeley, Tim was already there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh snap, yo, family, we all here together. So, once again, another great, just a great soul, man. A phenomenal bass player, man. There will never be another Tim. His ideas, his boldness on the instrument, like he was the young Goucher.
Yes, he was
in NWA.
Yeah.
He was like, if Goucher was mentoring or tutoring anyone at that time, it was Tim. Like Tim sounded just like him but like a younger version.
Yeah.
With just different ideas. And then he was a stand-up guy, like Tim. He was the one that had the MTDs in school, so I would like play on his MTDs. It was just, just
a good guy, man. Yeah, special musician,
amazing, phenomenal musician, man. Just the things that he would just kind of come up with on the bass, and then like I said, just him as a person.
Always loved when I saw him. I remember seeing him at GMWA. Tim and Thomas really ran, the whole GMWA movement. Absolutely. I remember going to LA and seeing him at City of Refuge. Mm-hmm. I remember getting engaged to my wife and him inboxing me like, "Yo, Chip, she's nice. This the one. You should." You know what I mean? Like, so I remember remember all that stuff. So he was just a good guy, and it hurt us all when he transitioned. But long live, our boy Tim Robbins.
Absolutely.
I'll wrap this up with Aaron Lindsay, Israel. Ooh. Yeah.
So Aaron Lindsay and Israel. So, and I mean, you all probably wouldn't know who Justin Raines is.
Okay.
But then I will also have to throw in Terrence Palmer.
I had him down too.
Oh, well,
but I was gonna call every name, but yeah.
No, I got you. But I had to throw in Terrence because Terrence is the one who said the gig is yours.
He's the segue. He's the endorser.
He is. Yeah. But I remember getting the call. So, quick backstory. So 2004, I want to say.
Yeah.
2004, I saw Israel and New Breed like 3 or 4 times. Mm-hmm. One time was in DC. There's this like African American college Christian event called Impact, and they met like every 2 years in DC.
Okay.
And I went in 2004, and Israel New Breed was the special guest artist.
Yeah.
And at the time, Evan's dad was playing guitar.
Eric
Bryce.
Yeah.
He was playing guitar. So he saw me in the hallway and he was like, Justin. I was like, yeah. He said, come with me. So I went to sound check with them. Mm-hmm. It was Terrence Palmer on bass.
Yes.
Marvin McQuitty, rest in peace.
Yes.
On drums. Eric Bryce, Aaron Lindsay, Buddy Strong.
Wow.
And I just kind of sat there and watched. And everything. I met Terrence. Me and Terrence talked. And then that was that. Next time I see them, they come to Boston. I'm playing with Bobby Perry and Rain. Mm-hmm. And we opened up for Israel New Breed.
Nice.
Go in the back, me and Terrence are talking. Terrence mentions, I'm looking for a sub because he was doing a lot. He was doing Martha Menizzi at the time. He was working on a solo record. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, I hope you find who you're looking for. Okay. Fast forward. They come back to Boston.
Yeah.
I'm playing drums for Free to Battle.
Wow.
And it's an Israel New Breed concert.
Yeah.
Same thing. Get to the back.
Yeah.
We talking. He's like, yeah, man, I'm looking for somebody to sell. I'm like, well, hope you find what you're looking for.
Is your mind not thinking of that, or are you just being humble?
My mind wasn't thinking about it. I was like,
yeah.
I mean, if it happens, it happens. Right. Or I wasn't even thinking about it happening.
Okay.
To be honest. And like fast forward like a few months, I think it was Eric Bryce who put my name in the hat. But I get a call from Israel. I get a call from a Houston number.
Wow.
I was in my apartment. And I was like, who's calling me from a Houston area code? Mm-hmm. Answer the phone. Hey, this is Israel Houghton. I said, no, it's not. I was going to hang up. And he said, no, this is Israel Houghton. I said, hold on 1 second. I put my phone on mute. Mm-hmm. I started screaming around. I started screaming because a part of my work ethic, if we kind of like backtrack, part of my work ethic and discipline was whenever there was a new gospel album out, I learned it. I learned it from top to bottom, and then I put it on the shelf.
Right.
That was working on my retention without me really even knowing about it.
Amazing.
So I knew everything that they were doing. So he calls me and says, "Hey, we're going to bring you to Chicago to shadow Terrence."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Okay." He said, "Can you?" He said, "You can cover Big Mike if you needed to as well." I was like, "Sure, absolutely." I'm just talking, like, sure. And so they take me to Chicago. I shadowed Terrence, and it was preparing me for my first date, which was November 15th, 2005, in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Your first gig was at home?
Was at home.
So was Mike Clemens. His first gig was in Connecticut, Bridgeport.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
First gig at home in the convention center, a free concert in the convention center.
Whoa.
So I leave Pittsburgh in 2002, come back home periodically to like play for Trini and stuff like that. And there's more stories in between there, but come back home periodically to play. And then I don't come back home until 2005.
Yeah.
And I'm with one of the biggest up and coming gospel artists at that time.
Wow.
Come on.
So that was big. But Aaron and Israel, just this November will be 18 years that I've been a part of Israel New Breed.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And time flies, Justin. I remember clearly. Yeah. Wow.
It's been 18 years, man. And I've learned so much. I've grown. In so many ways. Like I would need the entire like 2-3 hours to really talk about.
Of course, yeah.
You
could have an episode just for your New Breed stories,
right?
Yeah.
The impact, traveling the world.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Being able to go places. I took my kids to go see Tiwa Savage the other night.
Yeah,
and I went to school with Tiwa. She went to Berkeley. We all went to school together.
That's amazing.
We got I've got DVDs of concerts that we've done together.
Yeah.
And I saw the drummer. The drummer saw me and he got so excited. And I'm like, wow. And like my kids are like, did you know that he was a fan? I was like, I didn't know, but God has allowed Daddy to travel the world.
Yes.
And like my name is bigger than I like to admit.
Yeah.
In certain music bubbles.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, wow, it stemmed or it took my gratitude to another level. Like I'm grateful for that.
My brother, you deserve it. This is episode 10 of Musician Memoirs on the In the Pocket podcast with my friend and brother, Justin Rafiki Raines. Bro, you deserve everything, every blessing that God has for you. Because the way you are in everyday life is how you are on the stage. You are a kind person. You are, just like you said, you're interacting with the people who idolize you and are fans of you. I know I wasn't even there, but I know you handled them with care. Yeah. I know you were kind to them. I know you took pictures and whatever they needed because that's just who you are. That's Justin outside of the bass. A lot of people on their instrument are idolized, but then off their instrument, they are jerks. You know what I mean? And so I salute you. I applaud you. I wanted to have you on the show because for one, you're my brother. Two, so many people requested you. And then many people don't know the person behind the instrument. Yeah. So I wanted to get your story, tell your story, and then provide encouragement and your insight on how you've been able to obtain and sustain this longevity in your career.
Be teachable.
Yeah.
As a teacher, I'm still teachable. You know, like one thing that I've learned about myself is that I learn from my students.
Yeah.
Students can make a mistake and I'll turn the mistake into an exercise. Mm-hmm. So like knowing that there's always something to learn, there's always something new to learn, and embracing what is new to learn. Yeah. You know what I mean? Keep people around you that are better than you, or that's going to continue to push you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be in the know of what's going on. Don't just be so into yourself, but at the same time, be comfortable within your skin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Be comfortable with what you can do. Whenever I get a lot of new students, the word confidence is used a lot. You know, if I was better, I would be more confident. If I was this, I would be more confident. I'm like, well, look at a child. You know, if I bring my daughter into my studio, she's going to play these drums with confidence.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's what's up.
So you be confident at the level you are. You know,
Right.
so wherever you are, you be confident. You play that. I think about our brother Brandon Hodge, and I remember him starting out on bass. Like he was like he came out killing. So unfair.
Yeah.
But
he's another prodigy like you though. So
but he was confident in what he could do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He wasn't a big chopper, but his ear was so crazy and open. And when he played with confidence.
Yes.
And I use that analogy or that example whenever I'm like kind of talking to people or doing seminars or doing master classes. I'm talking about confidence to people.
Yeah.
You be confident with what you have. If you can only play 3 notes, you play those 3 notes with confidence. If you can only play a pocket beat, you play that thing until those drums are bleeding.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like that's just one part of it. Being confident in who you are, being up to date with what's going on, and be teachable.
Yeah.
Be teachable and embrace what's outside of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, be aware.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's move on to another segment of the show. This is episode 10 of Musician Memoirs with my brother, Justin Raines. Tools for the gig. 3 things that are in your gig bag.
My iRig.
Okay.
My tuner and my cord.
Okay.
Bass cord.
All right. Name your pre-show ritual. I can't say that. Name your pre-show ritual.
Pre-show ritual.
You're about to go out on a strong leg of dates. What's every day like?
If I'm getting ready to go out on a few dates, I like to be prepared. When I'm on stage, I don't want to think. I just want to play.
Okay.
You know, so I'll make sure that I go through everything. For if it's a tour run, I'll make sure I go through everything. If I want to, make sure I go through everything. Make sure I'm comfortable. If I'm standing, make sure I'm practicing standing and dancing around and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm comfortable and I know everything in and out.
Yeah.
You know, and so when it's time to go on stage, it's just about entertaining the people.
Do you have a pre-show meal or anything that you do before?
Push-ups.
Push-ups.
Yeah,
we can tell.
Yeah. Push-ups.
Yeah. Okay. And just to double back on retention, how do you retain your material?
Wow, it's been so long now. Let's see, I'm 38. When I was younger, and I think this kind of helps add context. When I was younger, when I was like 15, 16, started playing bass, an older lady in my church, she worked in the bookstore. And, you know, back in the day, new music came out on Tuesdays.
Right.
You know, every Tuesday we going to Circuit City. We going to, you know, wherever they sell music. Or,
right.
You know, these movies and music came out on Tuesdays. She would always give me 2 CDs every time I saw her on Sundays or in rehearsal. She would give me 2 CDs. It didn't matter what it was.
Wow.
And I would go home and I would learn that music. I was learning, read the liner notes, and I would learn the music from top to bottom.
Wow.
But I didn't know what it was doing. It was working on my retention and preparing me. Because I remember going to like a musical in Pittsburgh, and like a special artist came through and they just started singing a random song. Nobody knew it.
Nobody knew it but you.
But me. And I was like, how do you know this? And I was like, I remember practicing it randomly. So
right.
I was like, and by this time, I'm like, okay, I see what's going on. So what I started to do is I started to be more intentional. So
Yeah.
you think about it. Whenever we're reading a book, you want to remember what you
Right.
read in that book.
Comprehension.
Or directions.
Yeah.
You know, you drive somewhere one time. Oh, I know how to get there.
Yeah.
Actors.
Yeah.
You know, having to remember a script.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so for me, when it came to music, I don't just focus on my part.
Mm-hmm.
I learned everything. I learned the lyrics. I learned everybody's part. Maybe not to play it, but I could hear it. I know what's going on throughout the song in everybody's part.
Oh! I know. It was getting good, wasn't it? Hey, but the good news is we'll be back next week, September 20th at 8 p.m. for part 2 with Justin Rafiki Raines on the In the Pocket podcast. Thank you for your support. Please like, share, and subscribe. Forward this to your people and let them know that we're on and putting out premium content. Thank you for your support, and we'll see you next week. Stay in the pocket. Hey.